And I am Edwina Crouch-Pears, and I'm here with Marianne, and we're doing another liberal arts interview. We're here on location at Fort Mason in San Francisco, and we're going to talk liberal arts. And so, I'm so glad you could be here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. It's been a long time. We've been waiting for this moment.
It has been, yes. So, tell me about what you majored in college.
Well, let's see. It started off with just general education requirements because I didn't know quite what I wanted to do. And then, as I said, I was informed that women at that time are only supposed to do certain things.
Right.
Like a teacher, a nurse, or a secretary. None of which really appealed to me. I told the counselor, who happened to be a woman, I wanted to be an archaeologist. And she laughed at me. I said, women don't do that. Get something practical. After all, you're just going to get married anyway. The old saying. And it was a woman telling me, so I was puzzled. But I went along with the advice and took the business route of secretarial accounting. And after 2 years of that, I went on to San Francisco State and tried to branch out into liberal arts. And that lasted about a year when I realized education itself was a bit of a farce at that time. And so I decided to just quit altogether. I went to Europe, I came back, got married, went through many years of that lifestyle, and at some point decided it was time to go back to school because that's what I really, really loved more than anything. So I did. And I was near Sonoma State at the time, so that seemed to be a good choice. And I went back and got certified for GEs so I could branch out and finally start taking classes I wanted to take. And of course I didn't know what I wanted to take. So I went to women's reentry things, and I went here and I went there, and the good advice came to take what you like. So I thought, I like words. So the first class I took was called Words, Words, Words. And it was quite fun. I got to see this whole etymology, sort of the archaeology of words, so I was on a good track for investigating things. And from there I met people and teachers and counselors and advisors who all kept saying, take what you like. I thought, am I really allowed to if it doesn't lead to anything? And I said yes, because I've got no place to go anyway. So I decided to follow my dream. And I went to the art department, and they assured me anybody can be an artist. I proved them wrong, but I had a good time trying. I went to photography, and being a novice at re-entry, I showed up at 7:30 in the morning. It turns out the class was really 7:30 in the evening. So I thought maybe I need some more counseling. So I went back and met this wonderful Irene. And she really helped me start going to a women's re-entry group where I met a whole new concept of how to begin to define oneself. And I started. I took things like Tai Chi, I took English literature, I took American Indian Studies, I took everything I liked. And pretty soon it kept going back down to English as the focus, and all manner of reading and writing and all phases of literature, from Old English to modern to children's literature to poetry and poetry writing and essay writing. And bit by bit it sort of formed itself, really. And so in the liberal arts I see it as liberal because it was free for my choosing, and it was arts because it helped me begin to define and understand myself. So that's how it got started.
I like it.
And it's still going on.
So did English end up to be like your major? Did you have a major per se?
Yes, I think I really started focusing then because I really found my really true calling in understanding everything you want to know about human beings and life, and everything is in literature somewhere. Whether it's in Beowulf or Shakespeare or Plath or whoever, to Mark Twain, to you name them, every genre, everybody who has a written word is telling a story, and life is a story. And I began to see how I could define my own story in the story of all beings in all times and places. And since I was then really stuck in the idea of tragedy, I dove in really deep. I took Shakespeare and the Renaissance context in tragedies. I took every dark thing I could find and everything I could look at that was going to help me root out the bottom of some great mystery. And it began to work because I really got to begin to see that as human beings, we in our nature don't change that much. The stories change around us. So I began to see you don't have to go someplace to find yourself. You're already there if you just begin to understand yourself. And that's what liberal arts helped me understand, because I could go and pick and choose and eventually bring together enough units in one area to call it a major. So I did.
That's very good.
And I met wonderful people along the way, professors, other students, re-entry people, all who also contribute to that. And I found that in liberal arts, you get to meet a much broader spectrum of human beings who bring so much more to the table of understanding about life outside of college. It's not just about college, it's about what you do with your life. And my brilliant mother told me one time, I came back to tell her about my re-entry experiences and all the things I was learning. And I was taking myself serious as I do to get the A and pass the test and be a teacher's pet and all those good things. Finally had to give that up. But she said something very wise, that some ancient Greek saying that she knew all about. And she said that it's not for school we learn, but for life we learn. So it sort of changed my whole reason why I was back in school. So I took everything I liked and I graduated.
Nice, congratulations.
Yes.
That's excellent. So what are you doing with your major in your life now? How has it helped you?
Part of it, the part I'd really like to do, which I still haven't allowed myself enough to do, is writing. I love to write poetry and short essays. It's helped me in speaking, because if I don't have a chance to write things down, say formally, my exchange with other people seems to be, something that I have that is helpful in just having a more honest and deep relationship with people. In fact, I had some people tell me over and over and over and over, you must write, you must write, you must write. And when I sit down to write, I find the mind goes to another place. But if I tell it and talk about it, it just flows like out of some source. And then it can't go back and be repeated because it just comes. It kind of reminds me of the storytellers of old, or troubadours who go from town to town and they just tell their story and then they move on.
Right.
That's how I feel. So I don't know what'll come of it, but it's helped me be more interested in things I thought I didn't understand, being willing to try to understand them. It broadens the investigation of life in general. I think that it serves me mostly as a human being. In work, of course, it does, because it helps me relate to people across a broad spectrum. And I can usually, because of the background, tap into some part of almost every topic and find something in common with people. And I think that's one of the beautiful things of liberal arts, is you can find a thing in common with almost anybody if you take the broader view, the place we're really the same.
Yeah. Did you have any specific thing that you had in mind that you wanted to do with your major? From what you were saying before, it sounds like maybe not, but...
No.
Good for you.
If you want the honest truth, it was to stay alive.
Right.
I love school so much. In all my years, I've loved school. And it came a time in life when things were really crashing down around me and very difficult. And the options there are to go to a dark place or to go through it. And school was the only avenue I could see that I could get through it, because I loved school. And also I figured if I had a homework assignment, I would do it and I'd stay around longer.
Right. Yay.
And that was actually a conscious thought.
Wow.
If someone gives me a homework assignment, I'm going to live long enough to do it. And I did it long enough to change.
Wow.
It gave me the gift.
Yeah. Lifesaver.
So, lifesaver.
That's
great. In fact, you can call liberal arts a life-saving course of study in more ways than one, really. Because not only does it help you in your own ordinary journey, it helps you in the extraordinary journey. So, yay for liberal arts.
Yay. What would you still like to do that relates to your liberal arts background that you haven't done or that you've only started?
I think the thing that I would like to do is now to take a review of then and now. I think I actually officially graduated in 1986 with that official liberal arts degree. And then I kind of wandered around for a while trying to still define myself. And at that point I decided I'll never go back to a corporate sort of job where you work for a wage and someone tells you what to do and runs your life for a few bucks. At that point, another thought that came, I'd rather die under a bridge than go back to that life. So at first I gave myself permission to let life sort of lead me for a while. And it did. I went back to college again and I got a teaching degree for English as a second language. Again, trying to bring the words and the language together in my life somehow. And I was planning on finishing this and then going off to somewhere in Asia or Eastern Europe or somewhere to teach English as a second language. And that got detoured by another option that came up in life, which was to go to a full-time volunteer life in a spiritual environment. And so the liberal arts has helped me kind of negotiate life with having a direction but not being exactly stuck to it. So where I am now is the philosophical level of where I've learned to come to from the aspect of literature and writing and different things into a deeper place where it actually is part of who I am. And so the philosophical institution or the organization I'm a part of now is based on a lot of the teachings of India, which also give us another aspect of where liberal arts can take you in the exploration. Again, this is so funny, the archaeologist of yourself. So in the end, I got to be the archaeologist, and I'm thrilled because I saw a Jungian pyramid someplace, a picture of a pyramid with Jung's writing in it that said, it was all these lovely things that he said, and then it said, "You are truly the archaeologist of yourself." I thought, at last. I didn't have to go to Egypt, and I didn't have to dig up bones. So right now, I think I use it for my own perspective of understanding who I am in relation to what I am means. And without liberal arts, I think it would have been a much narrower, less adventurous discovery. Liberal arts leaves you open to trying it from all various perspectives, and none of them are wrong. They're just the way you're going. Next.
And it sounds like it leads you back to, something that you might have chosen earlier.
Yeah, I think so. And I think the whole thing that's always been one of my most driving forces in this world is mystery. What is the mystery? What is the answer to the mystery? But first, what is the mystery? And then in the end, you have to come to the place that's pretty much self-defined. So it is back to yourself again. The truer self, not just the personality ego part. And liberal arts helps you there because liberal arts can lead you to any of the other topics, whether it's psychology, philosophy, sciences, all of them. And then you can use them all in a way that's useful in your daily life, not just as a topic you use to accomplish a certain thing or a job. So in and of itself, the outcome is your life.
Wow.
Liberal life, it should be liberal arts of life.
Right, really. I was going to ask what's the value of a liberal arts major in the 21st century, but I think you've already told us.
I think everybody needs one.
Yeah. But if you have anything else to add or to that thought.
Well, I think people can do it themselves.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to college to do it. You just have to have a really amazing curiosity about your life, about the life of others, the relationship of yourself to yourself and to others, and how do you go about making a satisfying life for yourself as a life within you. So you don't have to go somewhere to get it. It's already in you. And I think liberal arts gives you every opportunity to discover that from whatever level you're interested in and pursue it and not get caught in it. That's the key. Great lines of Shakespeare say it throughout. I can't quote him right now, but one of the wisest people I know. I used to say, at the time I was looking at all these words and literature and all the great discoveries, that if I got stuck on a desert island, the two things I wanted was the complete works of Shakespeare and the Oxford English Dictionary. I would be happy for the rest of my life. I wouldn't even need a boat to go by to save me. I'd be happy. I think since then I might have changed a book or two, but basically it's the same. That invent yourself. Look up a word any day. Just pick up a dictionary, read a word, and see what things come to mind. Images, pictures, thoughts, memories, ideas. Out of a word you might know, a word you don't know. Look at the root of it. Where'd it come from? Say it says Middle English or French or something. What does that mean? Who are they? Why are we still using the word today? Who made words anyway? It's wonderful. Make up a word. Yeah,
it's back to the mystery.
It is. And you can create your own answer.
Yeah.
That's the best part. Like your dad said, what I saw on Mulberry Street.
Right.
Speaking of your dad, huge influence in the liberal arts pursuit of life by taking me on such fabulous field trips to experience life at that level of investigation and enjoyment, and without opinion before you go in, without judgment after you leave. Just go do it. Just be in your life and enjoy it. At all cost.
Yes.
As long as you have a Visa card.
Right. I ate the whole thing.
I did. It's been great fun. And it never stops. That's the thing about liberal arts. It doesn't end with college. And I think a lot of other topics do, or they change so radically as time and interpretation go, whether it's in terms of how we understand our sciences and our trades and math and science, even though they keep growing in some way. Liberal arts keeps inventing itself. I mean, you can go back as far as you can go back to the first hieroglyphic, to the future of data digitals beyond ones and zeros. And the message behind it is still human, whatever it is. So decode it. It's in you. Or create it. That's it. That's what liberal arts does.
Awesome.
I think.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show and talking with me.
I am so delighted because you helped me define all that it means to me. I don't often think about it. I just take it for granted because it's become how I am in this world, and I still face challenges, and I still face indecision. I still have this desire to write, and I don't do much of those right now. But in the meantime, I examine the root of what's behind that, and that's always the greatest thing, just being quietly with even letting the thoughts come up and go, come and go, like this beautiful bay here. Tides change, tides go. We come, we go.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you for inviting me.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Good.